Ito yung sitwasyon ngayon sa Hong Kong. Anuhin natin na. Ito ang mga sitwasyon naming mga domestic helper dito sa Hong Kong, sa mga may planong mag-apply ng abroad, maglalo na dito sa Hong Kong, at sa mga, lalo ng yung mga nandito na nais maglipat ng amo. Ito kailangan yung malaman. Ito ang headline sa The Sun, Hong Kong. Bumagsak sa halos kalahati ang bilang ng mga FDH na nag-apply at binigyan ng bagong employment visa sa Hong Kong mula 2019 hanggang 2021. Sa kabila nito ay patuloy ang pagdami ng mga hindi inaaprubahan ang visa dahil sa suspetsang job hopper sila. Kinumpirma din ni Labor Secretary Lau Chi Kwong na may 5,000 na-extend ang visa dahil hindi makapasok sa Hong Kong. So guys, punta tayo dito sa full story kasi mas nandito yung detalye kung bakit. Like natin yan, ano siya. So ito ang kabuuan ng balita. So FDH visa approvals dropped by half amid pandemic. Kahit may pandemic na yun dito, hindi sila na aprubahan kita kasi wala halos makapasok. So kahit walang makapasok, walang makaano, hindi pa rin sila nag-a-aproba dahil daw sinususpetsahan nila na job hopper ka. So sa immigration data, and this is galing ito sa immigration data. Immigration data show a drastic drop in the number of migrant workers applying for FDH visa. FDH stands for Filipino Domestic Helper. Hong Kong immigration has approved only about half of all new visa applications for foreign domestic helpers in the past 2 years of the pandemic compared with approvals made in 2019. The figures were revealed by Labor Secretary Lau Chi Kwong during questioning by legislator Judy Chan at the Legislative Council on Wednesday, January 19. For the year 2019, the total visa applications for FDH approved by immigration was 101,710. This went down to 68,864 in 2020 for a 32.2% drop, and to 58,152 for 2021, or an overall reduction rate of 42.8% since the pandemic began. However, Lau said more than 5,000 of these visa approvals involved reapplications by those unable to enter Hong Kong, meaning those actually stayed or came numbered just over 53,000, or about 48% fewer than in 2019. Notably, despite the drastic drop in visa applications, immigration increasingly rejected such applications over the 3 period, both in actual numbers and percentage-wise. For 2019, for example, the number of applications made was 102,495, meaning the number of rejections was just 785, or 0.76 of the overall number. And 2020, when 74,253 FDH applied, the rejections numbered 5,389, or 7.2% overall. The ratio dropped further in 2021 to 11.46, when 7,530 of the total 65,682 applications were rejected. What this indicates is that the drop in interest among FDH could also be due to immigration stepping up its scrutiny of visa applications, largely as a result of its avowed desire to keep out so-called job hoppers. Lau said the visa approval figures included those from terminated FDH allowed to process new contracts in Hong Kong under the exceptional circumstances of COVID-19. They did not include those who renewed their contracts or agreed to extend them for 6 months. The maximum period allowed by immigration under its new flexibility arrangement. For such other applications, Lau said the figure was 200,000 for 2020 and 340,000 for 2021. Inferring from these figures, it would appear that a majority of those currently working in Hong Kong have opted to just renew their contracts or agree to an extension, rather than terminate their contracts and risk being called job hoppers. Asked whether it was possible for the department to allow FTH to come in according to the dates of their visa approval, Lau said this could result to further delay. The administrative arrangement involved therein, including arranging submission of documents as proof, such as work visa and vaccination record, etc., as well as the registration from families employing FDH, compiling of the waiting list, making announcements in their order of priority, accepting new registrations regularly, and updating the waiting lists, etc., is complicated, he said. Lau says intervisa approval date could create more problems. It may cause delay and affect more FDH waiting to come to work in Hong Kong. Lau said in a total of 2,088 rooms for quarantine will be available to incoming FDH starting on February 1, with the addition of 150 more rooms at Rambler Garden Hotel. The other designated quarantine facilities are Courtyard by Marriott in Shatin and Regala Sky City in Tung Chung. He said the government understands the need of local families for FDH and will consider adding more quarantine hotel yan, having regard to the global and local epidemic situations. As for the employment agency figures supplied by Lau, it would appear that despite the big number of complaints made against them, prosecution have been rare. In 2020, a total of 82 complaints were made, 53 of which were for overcharging and 29 for breach of the agency code of practice. In 2021, this went down to 62 to 31 for each allegation. However, only 10 successful prosecutions were made in 2020, 3 each for illegal operation and overcharging, and 4 for other violations. In 2021, the number was down to 4, 2 for unlicensed operation, 1 for overcharging, and 1 for others. 7 licenses were revoked in each year following the prosecutions. 5 were for overcharging, 2 for breach of COP in 2020, while it was 2 to 4 and 1 for others for 2021. Yan ang mga sitwasyon dito sa Hong Kong. Kaya kung ikaw ay nagbalak na maglipat ng amo after mo mas okay na tapusin mo ang kontrata mo kaysa yung mag-break ka ng contract tapos mamaya niyan hindi ka ma-approve kasi sayang lang ang kaya hanggat kayang tiisin, magtiis muna hanggang paano ka kasi mahirap mahirap umasa na ma-approve ka pero mamaya ka lang kasi kanila na pagdudahan kanila na yung para kang lukso-lukso lang kung saan-saan. Pag kailangan mong tapusin ang iyong kontrata para kasi dito wala nang uwian. Wala nang uwian kasi mahirap na makapasok dito, guys. Kaya good luck sa mga dyan. Ito ang mga kaya kumunti na kami dito. Kumunti na kasi wala na masyado nakapasok. Yung iba rin na lang. Kaya good luck sa ating lahat. Stay safe, be healthy. Disclaimer pala, hindi ako binabayaran dito. Hindi ako binabasa ko lang ang mga importanteng mga news that matters, top stories, or lalo na yung mga importanteng mga news na walang time magbasa ang ating mga papakinggan lang nila. Nais ko man i-interpret or kung ano man ang mga sinasabi ko ay labas po ang dasan Hong Kong. At salamat po. Kayo dito sa Hong Kong i-ano ko lang yung link nila. Kaya, shoutout sa lahat ng mga OFW around the world. Stay safe, be healthy, and always remember life is still beautiful. Have a sweet life. I love you all.